Always good.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
A show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions, tips,
Tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy,
And Chrissy.
and I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Vicki.
And we are Everyone Racers and Garage Heroes in Training.
Yay!
Yay!
And I've never heard your music intro at regular speed, so it sounds totally different.
I'm sure it is. So welcome to this Cheesy Poofs episode 254. As Team 254, also known as the Cheesy Poofs, is a high school robotics team from the San Francisco Bay Area and are the 2022 First Robotics Competition champions. So if you're not building a killer robot, how about that bingo card? Or
You
make a
already
bingo
get
card.
to be able to check one off that says talk about a different podcast. If you get that one on your you're already ahead.
And sarcasm's like a free card,
Right?
Spot, so
You're
Pretty much. Yeah. Yep. Well, fantastic. Well, we are ready to get started. So what you working on? Who wants to go first? I'm going to say, Bill, what you working on?
Good call.
I am trying to find out where my missing legs went from our weekend. They're still out there somewhere. I haven't felt them since we got back. Basically, we did some unpacking, and we're still looking at our electrical issue in our Honda Civic, and I've been studying my electrical wiring of automotive and race cars class that I have. And now we actually need to know what I'm doing. So I have my notes. I'm ready.
Good.
Good.
It's all like water. Just it follows the path. And sometimes things are in the way. Like you get a dam that's there sometimes, and you get restrictors at like a little mesh that gets in the way sometimes. And then sometimes something happens and completely blocks it. You don't want that. So just think of it like water. Where is it flowing from and to?
And the word of the weekend was dejankifying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
the word. That is the word.
It is appropriate, is it not?
It is.
Ever so. We will detail later.
Excellent. Cool.
Yep.
You, Chrissy.
What have you been up to?
Sorry.
Yes, yes.
I know. I'm sorry. I had to find my mute and find my mic. I skipping ahead and filling things in. Unpacking, cleaning the Mazda off because we had what did we call it? You called it the Mazda Valdez. So we had an oil spill, which we'll talk about later, and everything we just cleaned it too. So we cleaned it, and then we had an oil spill, and it went everywhere, and it's still everywhere, and we still keep cleaning, and it's still not any better. It's better now, but still a lot. So yeah, so we're cleaning the Mazda, and yeah, Chris will talk about the rest of the stuff we've been working on. Vicki, what are you doing?
Next time you should get the house salad dressing as opposed to the oil and vinegar.
Okay, noted.
Terrible. No, I've been doing the unpacking and repacking ish, catching up on the domestics. I had a big branch that landed like off the tree in my backyard, so I'm trying to figure out how to get that down. I've been doing some Amazon shopping for hot weather items for the upcoming race because Chrissy had shown us this wonderful towel to wrap around our neck to cool us off, and oh my gosh, life-changing. So I'm all about that right now. And tomorrow
Hold on, did you find anything else good now that you're like
well,
for cool things?
Share with the class.
Yeah, because we got cool towels, and they were like, truthfully, they were free because I stole them from work. But anything else? Because
so they are. I got something very similar to the cool towels, because they worked. But I also got the frog togs, which are actually strips that are about 3 inches by like 29 inches. So you wet them and you kind of wrap them around your neck or your headband or whatever. You kind of do that with it. But they, as they dry, they get, they kind of get a little hard. So I'm not really too sure about them yet, but I hear great things, but they're supposed to like keep you cold or that coldness for like up to like an hour to like an hour and a half.
We
I
had
don't-
our cold lasted what, 30 seconds?
A minute.
A minute.
Moments. Moments.
yeah, I'm just trying,
Oh,
but then
I'm sorry, what are they called? Frog dogs?
frog tugs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Found
They
something
co-
else too, didn't you?
yeah. There's a bunch of other like kind of cold towels and stuff, but there's another thing by Mission. And they're hats that have that cold band that's in them. And they have like the hat like Chris has, like the fisherman hat.
Mhm.
And they have the band that you can wet on the inside and it just wicks and dries, but it stays cold. But they have baseball caps for that also. So I ordered 2 baseball caps because, hey, you know, but
Frog dogs look like a ShamWow.
they kind of do. You're
Do you know-
supposed to take them and you're supposed to snap them like 3 times.
Yeah.
But they have like little insulators on the inside. I'm going to give them a shot.
No, totally. I'm not saying anything bad about them. Just
Yeah,
like when I
no.
look at them, because I've Googled it, obviously. And they look, but they're
Looks like
cheap.
an absorber.
Yeah.
What if
Yeah.
you could just take an absorber and put it in the freezer?
I'm telling you, that was like utterly life-changing for our moods when we got down there. I'm like,
It was.
I'm so getting
and it
that.
was like icy, so it was pretty
Right?
darn awesome.
It
Yep.
was awesome. I figure I'm going to have a cooler in the garage and a cooler in our pit area because we're not in the garage technically. Yeah, so we're just like I ordered enough for everybody because they
Good
weren't
idea.
really expensive. So,
Yeah.
but and then back to other things, just catching up on the domestics. And tomorrow I'm going down to the hangar to start working on the Honda. You know, we're going to have to work on the distributor, start with the distributor. And then, of course, they're kind of yelling in, going, "Hey, is this something to do with the switch?" It's not the switch. It's not the switch. Yeah, I got to as Chris puts, dejankify my electrical system.
It has been the subject of not only a bizarre set of previous owner intentions, but then also a quite a bit of field expedient repairs over.
Yeah,
over
I
the
think
years.
there's a lot of hands in it.
Yeah.
And I don't know anything about electrical, but I'm like, oh yeah, sure. It just kind of goes. And no, that's not the way it's supposed to go. So we're going to get through Thompson and then we're probably going to rip the dash out and start all over again.
I'd have more success. It might be more work now, but it'll be less frustration later.
Yeah.
Totally.
Winter project.
I got to get it started first though.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Hope it's not too hot.
Chris, were you up to anything this week or just recovery?
Well, the obviously track weekend prep and unpacking, and Chrissy also already mentioned the Mazda Valdez cleanup, and just check up on the car. How is it? It's fine. Really, the only problem was the oil leak. Also looked at Chrissy's youngest sister's car, which it's another Mazda 3 that is 215,000 miles, and no one knows how, but like currently the oil in it has 11,000 miles on it. Car's trucking along. It thrives on neglect, which
Yes,
is
it
wonderful
does.
because that's all it gets. Anyway, it needs a few things for inspection, so I made a big rock auto order for that last night. We're going to get it to go along for another year if we can, and everyone's expectations are already far exceeded by this car. So we'll keep
Even
doing what we
hers.
can.
So
Oh, yeah.
everybody's pretty
What's the mileage on it again?
215 now.
Wow.
Yeah, but so much of that has been neglect. It's amazing, but it's still trucking along.
Mhm.
Yep.
She loves it. So yep. And we did a little bit of cleaning too. So it was good. Yep.
Car doesn't know us anything, so we're just gonna keep milking it for all it's worth.
All's well.
Mhm.
Okay.
All right. Ready
Chrissy?
to move on?
Yep.
All right. We love to save the manuals, whatever possible. A car like the Supra totally should have one. Well, now it does. New for 2023 is the new 6-speed Manual transmission is arguably the 2023 Toyota Supra's most desirable option, but it won't cost extra. For the 2023, the Supra 3.0 starts at 53 grand, and the 3.0 Premium starts at 56,000, both representing a $610 increase over last year. But those prices apply regardless of whether you get an 8-speed automatic transmission or the newly available stick shift. Manual comes only with the 382 horsepower turbocharged 3-liter inline 6 as the base 255 horsepower turbocharged 2.0-liter inline 4 remains automatic only. The base Supra 2.0 costs the same as it did last year at 44 grand. Nice.
Yeah, a lot of those this weekend. There's definitely ding.
Right.
Yep, lots of them.
Lots and lots. So we've got breaking news, especially if you're playing the E1R F1 game. Highly recommended.
It'll be better next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully it will return to its greatness of last year, but we are we're doing well this year now that I read the rules. It's so much easier to score points when you know how the points are scored. But anyway.
And if you care, there's that. I haven't.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah. Starting on the first week is always helpful too. Yeah.
Yep. All the above.
All the above. Yeah. But anyway, news just broke that Porsche and Red Bull are merging for a 50% ownership share of the Red Bull powertrain and outline a 50% stake in the entire Red Bull F1 team. Documents were released in the past hour in French. Took me a while. And details still to be determined. And does this excite you? Does anybody care?
Yeah.
I was happier with Honda, but I guess that most of Red Bull powertrain is Honda at this point still. So I guess this maybe goes toward the future, whatever the new generation is in 26, I think.
26, yeah. It's being speculated that this is the first step towards Red Bull leaving F1.
I doubt that.
They've been there for a long time and had a lot of success and brand recognition from it. So you'd imagine it'd be hard for them to be the ones to bow out of this. I can imagine someone like Sauber Alpha, being sold to somebody and changing.
That's coming soon. Don't skip down. Last one. Does this mean I actually have to root for Max now?
Have to root for Max? Nobody has to root. But if you want to get in the bandwagon with Jeff, then you can totally do that.
No, thank you. I'm not after last year. Anyway, further rumors have also been revealed that Audi is looking to establish a ownership relationship with Sauber in the F1 team. Vicky's lips are moving, but nothing's coming out.
I'm trying to figure out what Sauber is.
It's the name of the team.
Oh, okay.
Yes. It's short for Sauerbraten. If you buy that, I've got a bridge to sell you. And that seems to be that the new engine rules are bringing in the desired new manufacturers. At least it seems to be. We'll see.
I think they are probably needed because of the amount of engine failures you've got going on this year. I would imagine there's plenty of teams, 2 or 3 right at the top, that I think could probably be considering other. Well, I guess if you're Ferrari, you can't get another.
Right.
Yeah,
Ferrari can't get someone else to get.
I suppose. I mean,
motors, right?
Maybe they could secretly work with somebody else, and maybe that would be worth it. But
it would help my fantasy team. I'll tell you that.
They help their reliability, because being a Ferrari fan these days is really pretty tough.
It's a letdown.
It is a letdown. Or well, sometimes it's not. That's why that's the problem, because it's they're very unreliable, like a Ferrari.
Right. So if you've been getting let down too much lately and you decided you want to have the best weekend with friends ever, I've got something for you. A package of 4 go-karts on racingjunk.com. 4. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. The ad
are there right now? How many hosts are there right now?
Exactly.
Right. And who has a hanger? Hello.
Stop it. Stop it.
Now, Bill, the plant, does the road, the parking lot goes around both sides. Does it go all the way around the building? Like, could we make it?
Does not, but we can make it. We can make it happen, because the back is graded to a railroad, so we would actually have a banked turn.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
Sounds only a tiny bit dangerous.
No problem.
That'd be
Keep
good.
the foot down. You're fine.
Yeah.
Gosh.
The chemical Grand Prix. Anyway, it's this guy is selling 4 go-karts. Once sells a package. There's a CRG shifter cart, which is a Road Rebel chassis with a Honda 125 race ready. A Tony shifter cart, which is a Krypton chassis with a TM 125 race ready. A Margay tag cart with a new never race Leopard motor race ready. And a Monza tag cart with Leopard motor. Have all parts put together. Championship cart. He's all the parts he's got. All is going to go, if you buy all 4 carts, 10 grand in Minooka, Illinois. There is no way you cannot have fun with your friends with 4 go-karts.
We can get this done before this podcast posts. I got to drive out to Autobahn in a couple weeks. I can pick him up, make room, not a problem. Vicki won't even know. She doesn't listen when I talk, so we're fine.
This is true. We had multiple conversations this weekend. She was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. Or just saying Manuka. Manuka's fun.
It is. It's fun to say Manuka. So yeah, if we pave that banked thing right behind the plant, we can actually make a loop on the weekends and have a little, cones in the front parking lot. There's no way this could.
Why wouldn't we just put them on the runway?
Because there's planes and people using it. Yeah.
You just go around the hangars.
Right. That's what I was thinking. You can make a circle track right around all the hangars. Go from the bottom hangar to the top hangar. Sounds amazing.
And if you go wrong, your head in a go-kart is right about where the propeller of a plane is.
Breaking news. Facebook just posted a video from the 24-hour Lemons. They put a poll up that says the best car to convert into a boat. I'm thinking something about 3-Pedal Mafia maybe in this video.
Oh yeah.
Well, we know it's the Chevy S10. Duh.
I mean, that's what we're biased though.
Well, when we were trying to build the boat, we're planning to, we had a call with Pagel and Jay, and we were saying, all right, we're going to do this boat thing. We have a Miata that was legit $200. We had an E30 that was legit $500. We said, or we can go get something like an S10 with a full frame. They said, yeah, I get the S10. That's going to be a lot safer. So we did.
Vicki had her hand up regarding the last discussion, and nobody called on her.
Sorry, I was reading the notes. Yes, Vicki. What was it?
Oh, I don't know.
No, Chrissy's just being very inclusive.
Sure. Wait, we raise our hand, and I want to make sure we didn't skip over.
Chevy S10 does not make the top 5.
Well, they're wrong. So there's that.
These are all people who've never done it.
Well, Nick is sitting next to the top 5. Right now, their top 5 are Opel Manta, a Plymouth. Let me see. It's right on the thing. Hold on. That's a Plymouth, so automatically Barracuda, Corvette Stingray, Hyundai Tiburon, or AMC Marlin, and the winner, Corvette Stingray.
Yeah.
Chevy For the loss.
Totally.
All right. Upcoming races. There's only one. Lucky Dog is hosting their Dog Days of Summer 4th annual Rob Edworthy
You can do it. You can do it. Come on.
It's not written there at ORP. We have no idea who the entrants are, but I'm sure they will have a fantastic time. Although I'm pretty sure it's hot in the Pacific Northwest these days, so it might be actually just hella hot. But we don't have any other information than that.
Get your cool shirts.
Totally.
Indeed.
Okay.
None of us baked our brains the entire weekend, so that this has no effect on our podcasting capabilities.
No, it shouldn't be anyway. We've had a little bit of time to recover. At least 3 of us have legs. That's helpful.
Listener
feedback. I guess I just happened to take all the notes today. So Bill and I did a bunch of things on our socials regarding how the cars were going or not, and how days were going. So I have a few highlights, and anybody else can chime in here. I posted a video of how quiet the garage was on Saturday, basically empty. Chris White said, anybody smacking long things on car hoods? I know, unfortunately. Corey D, we brought it. It stayed in the trailer though. Yeah. Corey D said they left some music on because one person had like a Bluetooth speaker in the garage. And Tom L said, wow, distinct lack of tools, spare parts, etc. For the most part, although the poor guy on the very end near I was gonna say judging where like tech that was doing a trans, like organizing and fixing a trans on the floor by himself. That was very sad. I think
too
he
bad.
just had a jack. Did you not walk through the garage at all? I had to.
I didn't see that guy. No,
Oh, he was in an
I didn't have to go through the
Escort.
garage.
I did to get on the
Yeah.
cooler side to get it to the restroom on the other side of the wall. So yeah, I walked by him multiple times. I think he fixed it all weekend. It was really, really sad. Also, I posted a picture of the carnage, and while I was concerned about my car, which we'll talk about in a little bit, so many people were concerned about me, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. Thanks. So we'll talk about that little hit a little bit. So
You know who's usually concerned about you?
that's true.
Your mom.
That's
And
true.
Dad.
Oh.
Aw.
Oh.
Hi, Chrissy's mom.
Hi.
Hi,
Hi, Chrissy's
Chrissy's
mom.
mom.
You know, we're the ones who did the theme about Chrissy's mom, so we are 100% Chrissy's mom supporters.
And that actually got a good reaction this weekend too. A lot of people
Yeah,
really liked
totally.
the cookie car.
Some people thought it was a real business, and we were sponsored by them. I'm like,
Right?
no, we just liked our cookies.
Fueled by maybe sometimes, yes,
Mhm.
but no, that's pretty awesome. And then makes you think like, well, maybe we should be. And then she just makes them because she likes you guys. So there's
Mhm.
that.
It's awesome.
Oh.
It is awesome.
All right.
Is there anything else you wanted to highlight, Bill? Because you did a lot of posting.
I did. We kind of posted kind of updates throughout the day. We did some walk and talks. Chrissy and I did some mutual ones. We did one from the cheat code of NJMP, which shall remain nameless, I think. And I tried to post it on our YouTube channel, all of them in one spot. So if you guys want to look at it, the Garage Heroes and Training YouTube channel, they're there.
Fantastic. Okay. It's main topic time.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Hit it, Chrissy. Hit it, Chris.
Oh, good. Vicky did it for
Thank
us. Thank
you.
you, Vicky.
Vicky's
I
microphone
didn't want
goes
this
out
to be the
too.
Chrissy, right? Yeah,
Yep.
we couldn't hear it. I didn't want this to be the Chrissy show.
It's all right. This weekend, the four of us went to Grid Life at New Jersey Motorsports Park. So we're going to talk about all about what that was like, because this is Grid Life's first Northeast event. It's the first event that Grid Life that Chrissy and I have ever been to. I don't know about you guys. First for you
one.
guys too. First for you
one for
guys
you.
too. So
Yeah.
we've heard a lot about it. I know Mental's been there with them before, but it's new to us. So let's talk about it. So let's start on Friday. How does Friday go for everybody? What cars are we bringing? At least let's get started for that. Like, what are we doing?
Well, we prepped the Honda cookie car quite well, and we brought over the Mazda. What year is it?
2019.
Yep.
Miata.
Miata, the little Miata ND. And figured, yeah, we were kind of wrestling about what cars we were going to bring, and a lot of them were broken. So that
easier.
kind of knocked them out. So Bill had major concerns about bringing over this Honda because, we had a little, Jennifer felt a glitch in it. And he's like, I don't know if we should bring it because we're not sure if it's 100%. I'm like, listen, we got the Honda guy there. I mean, Chris,
That's
we
Mr.
have
Honda to you.
any-
Mr. Honda.
issues with this car, we can shake it down this weekend. So we decided to bring the Honda, and yeah, so we just we trucked on out. How about you guys?
Well, for
Cars did
those who
you
don't
bring?
know, the cookie car is a 93 Civic Si hatchback. Still
Mhm.
running a single cam VTEC. Okay.
Yep.
I brought our new Civic out, which is also a 93 Civic Si hatchback, but with
Not the same.
not the same motor at all, with a
No.
K24 and various other things. And this is all the stuff from their old green hatchback that now is put into a new chassis. And this is the first time I've done more than drive it around our half-mile block once. And yeah, we'll talk more about that.
How did you get
shortly.
it there?
I towed it behind in our ATC trailer behind our new Escalade. And a part of this, I'll give you a towing review of how the Escalade did.
Ooh, that's almost like the rental car game.
It is.
Almost.
Yep.
So Chrissy, let's talk about your trip to
Sure. So I
Friday.
was probably about the one of the more interesting ones. I drove the Mazda. So let's all review. If you're from the East Coast, you know how hot it was last week. But if you don't, it was about 98 with minimal breeze, and I drove the race car. So I also had to go to work all day. I drove the Mazda to work, and I parked it in my parking lot, and I have a parking spot. And then I'll tell you, this week, my boss said, "Hey, on Friday, did you drive the race car to work?" Yes, I did. So, and most race cars doesn't have AC. It barely has a fan. I ran it a little bit, but it didn't help much. So I made the plan to change out of my my work attire into whatever was as cool as possible. But I also decided we were going to run a cool suit. So I loaded my cool suit cooler full of all of the ice that was in our freezer.
All of it.
I just dumped the whole freezer, bucket into my cooler. I strapped it in the car. I brought it into my office all day. I hid it around the corner so you couldn't really see. And then as soon as I was ready to leave, I filled with water. Ice was still there because it's Yeti cooler, really, really nice cooler. So there was still plenty of ice there, and I got ready. So I wore a cool suit, workout shorts, and flip-flops. So and I left right from work. So it was 4:00. Still had to go the blue route. Still had to go a little bit of 95 over to 55. So knowing that
traffic is a nightmare in general.
It was, yes, it wasn't the worst, but it wasn't great. I sat on the blue route for quite a long time. And of course, when you're sitting in the race car and you're inching along, there's no air anywhere. The biggest problem that I had was that there is a hole in the floor and it's a little plug. And Chris said, well, you know what? That'll give you some airflow from the floor. What I found was that it's close. It's close enough to the exhaust and therefore burned my leg, because as I was accelerating, I moved my foot around from the side to the top to the up to wherever I could. So it was like out of the line of burning. So other than that, it was fine, pretty uneventful. Yeah, just hot. And by the time I got to the track, it was my ice had just run out. We have an oscillating module on the cool suit. So it runs every 7 minutes and on for a minute, off for 7 minutes. So I made it work and made it last till I got to the track. I was hot and sweaty, but happy to be there.
You did get the reward of having veto power and authority for where we went to dinner.
I did. And I didn't want to abuse said power, but I was really looking forward to some pizza. So I appreciate the group acquiescing to my request.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so uneventful, but eventful because you drive the race car and, just driving down the street in the race car.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be comfortable.
Yeah. All right, so I guess, well, on that note, I'll give a toe pig review of the Escalade Esv. So this is a 26 Escalade Esv, 6.2 liter, 420 horsepower, 460 torque, 8-speed transmission. Hooked to a 20-foot aluminum enclosed trailer with a weight distribution system that was hooked up. The trailer probably weighs about 6,000 pounds, and it was excellent. I was so comfortable. The air conditioning is like a meat locker, because that's one thing. When GM does it right, they do air conditioning really right. The ventilated seats are so good, I had to turn them down. The power is phenomenal. Having 8 gears and that much power. Like,
he tells me this when I get out and I'm still sweating.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's like, oh, it was great. And I was like, good.
Yep.
I'm glad.
Chrissy.
I'm glad.
Don't forget the interaction of your legs with the race seat.
Yep.
Sure. Yes.
It wasn't quite a massaging seat.
I had no massaging nor cooling.
No,
I had sandpaper. Next time you get in your race seat with shorts on and not a race suit, you'll realize that it's trying to make you not move and therefore grates your legs. So I forgot about that.
chafing.
Yeah, basically for no reason. Like I wasn't moving. It was just grating my legs.
Well, Chris was too cold, so I mean, it's almost the
It
same.
was.
Let's
I
hear
also
how
found
wonderful Chris's ride was.
Yeah. The previous owner has not turned off the XM radio in the car yet either, so that still works. And yeah, the thing is, you do notice the back end of it moving a little bit more than the old heavy duty Suburban 2500 we had before, because that was super stiff. And
Is that buoyancy?
it is. It's a boat. I also don't have load range tires at 80 psi anymore. I mean, these are P rated at 35. It's the back end moves around a little bit more, but it's totally manageable. And what I actually did is I put the adjustable suspension in sport mode because it's firmed all the shocks up, and that actually made a difference. So I would have to say so far, strongly recommend Escalade Esv as a
Good.
tow vehicle.
Is
Yeah.
it a little bit more towards starboard or is it windward side?
Well, the wind does knock the trailer around a little bit more than the old Suburban, without a doubt. Yeah. I did have to have the harbor pilot help me
Yes.
to dock it, of course. But it did come in handy when we all went out for pizza. All would fit. No
yes,
problem.
we did.
And,
Thanks, Dad.
Yep.
everyone was good.
I'm
So we
surprised there's
stopped
not a
by,
button for the anchor, you know?
Yep. Everyone was good. So we stopped by Blinker Custard on the way back to the track, as one does at New Jersey. Yep.
We were pretty happy about it too. It was delicious.
Yep.
Was just the right tip.
Our baby
Okay.
cups, they were good. We got baby cups. They were delicious.
It was good.
All right. So we're talking about expectations and goals, right? So that's next. That's next up. What do you guys think? What were your expectations or goals or both?
Expectations. My expectations were to, I guess, understand the track a little bit more. But to be honest, I had more concern about Jennifer because I really wanted Jennifer in the car because she was really kind of shaky about the front wheel drive. Her first trip out onto it was at the race. So that was a bit much. I think she had one race just before that, I think. But
New Jersey race.
yeah. So
Did she listen to this show?
Doesn't listen to
it's
our
fine.
show, so she's not going to listen to your show.
I don't listen to our show either. So.
But I really enjoyed that. But you know, I guess part of it was working on my brake distances around off that back the front end along the front straight and trying to shorten that up. And but then I just was, you know, really happy that kind of Chris hopped in my car, and we're going to get into that later because, you know, in just a matter of that short amount of time, I've learned quite a bit. So that was mine. I
Miss
drove
Chrissy?
the Mazda all weekend.
You did?
Miata.
Miss Chrissy?
My expectations were that grid life was gonna be more fun is the word that was coming to mind. A little more social, a little bit more conversation with other people, at least some more conversations with other people, not quite NASA Great Lakes discussion with others, but it didn't indicate that there were downloads. Bill told us all go to the classroom to go for our download, and we were the only people there. And so then we said we don't have a download. So I was expecting a little bit more social, not lemons at all, but just a little bit more discussion, I think. Not that we didn't have good discussion with all of us, which we absolutely did. So my goals for the weekend were to just go faster and work on all the things I usually do at HBDs. How do I, what are the work on corners? I don't even think it was a goal, but it became my goal, which we might be talking about, is eyes up. All weekend, I told myself eyes up. I found so many corners that I was lagging and slowing, and eyes up became my word of the weekend. So yeah,
I agree. Yeah. You know what, though? I think there might have been a little bit more energy if it just wasn't so freaking hot.
maybe. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I was just too much to even leave the paddock, really.
It cooled off at night, though, like pretty
Yeah,
reasonably.
but the day just
the
sapped
day was
you at
brutal.
that point.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was 0% cold and 40% party. Really,
Oh,
that's really what it was.
at 40 is generous because we're fun. That's yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I think the bugs, it's 10% bugs, maybe more
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, the wind died down just to let the bugs be able to find me. So
Mhm.
it was
And
lovely.
me,
Okay.
yeah. I was
No, but you know, I think expectations for the grid life itself. I mean, this is their first event here. You know, nobody really knows grid life. They've heard of grid life, and I don't know how they are at Lime Rock yet. But yeah.
Yeah, I too was expecting more of an atmosphere that wasn't there. So, but my goals for the weekend were shake down the Civic a little bit, see what I had, and hopefully that was okay, and then hopefully just have a good time. Otherwise, really, and not die. That's nice. Don't die.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
What about you?
It has been so long since Chris or I had not had full-time instructing duties at an HPDE. Not a clue as to how that felt. And it was rather relaxing. I'm kind of glad I wasn't full-time instructor, but we still did some on and off instructing within the team. My goal is always, make sure Jennifer and Vicki are having a good time and getting the most out of it. And then if I drive, great. Hopefully shake down the Honda Civic and see if we can get something done. And then Chris doesn't ever seem to get anybody to ride with him, so I figured I'd get out there as much as I could with him, and we did it a little bit. TBD
Once,
later.
half a
one
session.
time. Yeah.
And I went out once with you. That was good.
It was good. Easy.
All right.
So, pretty
Friday. And we camped in our enclosed trailer with the portable air conditioner running, which kept it just
how
cool
did
enough.
that work out?
It was okay.
It was
Friday night kept
okay.
it cool enough. It's kind of loud, but it kept it cool enough.
But both days we had to get up, stand up in the middle of the night for us to reinflate our bed. So it's nothing like, oh, cool. We're like, and fortunately, Chris is heavier than I. So he's on the ground and I have a little bit of air. And he's like, okay, get up. And we reinflate the bed.
Yeah, it was an old air mattress.
We threw that out. That didn't.
I def said, are you sure that one isn't flat? And he's like, no, it's fine. And I was like, oh, okay.
That one didn't even come home.
No,
Chrissy walked out and walked right to the trash can.
I did. I said, this is where this is going.
Yeah.
And the AC was coldish. It was colder in the house, but it was loud. It was really loud.
I think the condensate drain got blocked, and that's why it shut off on Saturday midday, because it had been running 24 hours straight. But once they cleared that out, it was fine. It kept running nicely. It was colder and worked better after that. So not ideal, but works.
The weather was asking an awful lot of your air conditioner. So
it's true.
Oh my gosh, it was so terrible.
It was.
Yeah.
It was hard to keep up with that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Saturday. Bill, talk us through where did we start?
Saturday we went to the most energetic, people packed drivers meeting in the morning I've ever been to. It was standing room only.
Kind of like Lemons.
Kind of almost.
No,
Adam,
it was.
Adam did a great job.
Yeah,
he did.
Absolutely.
Yes, he did.
Quite entertaining, but the crowd has started off, it was kind of like the opening act to a concert where nobody knows who they are. And it was kind of, you just sit there and sway a little bit, but you're not really rocking. So,
there were 15 people, maybe?
Well, I mean,
20,
maybe 20. Yeah.
Some of them were large.
20,
we can count them as 2.
25.
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone just standing in the shade of the building.
But we all could all stay 6 feet away from each other because there was literally nothing. There was plenty of room in the shade. Nope.
And to be fair, the PA system that they were using, we could hear it from where we were and probably another half mile past it. So you didn't really have to snuggle up with everybody to hear Adam. So it was fun.
Nope.
And then we did I guess Chris and I were in the advanced HPD, and Vicki, Jennifer, and Chrissy were in the intermediate HPD, not because of skill, but just because of we had to have enough cars to get everybody out there. We didn't have 5 cars to get everybody out in the same session. So we started pairing up that way, and it was fun though.
Oh, we didn't talk about tech.
Oh, tech was quite good, I thought.
We should talk about tech.
Well,
because I checked on Saturday. I was trying to think of that's what I was doing
Yeah.
Saturday morning when we were making breakfast.
Yeah, I brought the Civic in Friday at the end of the day. They were still allowing it, and they gave it a pretty thorough look. Really, they didn't find any problems, but they really were quite thorough at looking at it. And the other fun thing is that they had the scale set up to weigh the race cars. And as I was parked right in front of them, I said, "Hey, can I drive up on the scales and just see what it is? It's a new build." They're like, "Yeah, sure." So I drove the car up on the scales, and with me in it and a helmet and a full tank of gas, the car weighed 2,273 pounds. So that's
a full tank of gas too.
Yep. That's a pretty good starting point. I think it's going to get heavier once the cage and the fuel cell and the splitter and fire system all go in. But starting with a car that essentially weighs, take the fuel and me and stuff out of it, 2,000 pounds with a K24, that's pretty good.
Now, what was the other machine that they had where you can roll the car up and you can spin the tires? Is that what you're referring to?
Oh, that was a dyno.
Dino.
Oh, the
That's-
dyno.
That measures your horsepower and torque at the wheels.
I've
so-
never seen one of those.
Oh.
We don't have cars with horsepower nor torque. so
No,
there's
or
a
need to
reason.
be tuned.
No.
Yeah.
It was
Yep.
loud,
Hmm.
is.
as dinos are.
Yep.
Entertaining though.
How is your tech, Fishers?
You know what I was impressed by was that when he was testing, first of all, they thought the car was absolutely hilarious when they opened up the hood and
Duh.
saw everything was written all over the engine. I had to explain what it was. But
Got a lot of explaining to do this weekend.
it kind of did. So but what I did like that they did that our tech doesn't do was that they actually check your hubs. Like he was leaning in there and pushing on the tires to make sure the tires weren't loose. And I've never seen our tech ever do that, which was pretty good. I thought I never really thought about, that for tech, but yeah, but the tech was pretty thorough, I would have to say. Of course, what they didn't do is they didn't really check any Did they check helmets?
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
Okay, you
I
probably
did
did.
helmets.
Okay, that's right.
They barely did mine. I had to show them, and they said okay, but
Yeah,
it was part of the tech.
Yeah, it was pretty light, but in some aspects it was pretty. They looked at different things, But it was okay. It was good. What about you guys?
Yeah. Oh, no problems. Chrissy, yours is fine too. No.
Yeah, I went on
Breezed right through.
Saturday. Yeah, I went on Saturday, and the line, I was like, oh, I've got time. No big deal. So I got in line, and the line went all the way down. I was probably fourth or fifth in line, and then every once in a while, some jerk off would pull right into the garage and think that there's no line, and they're just like, oh no, you can't just drive right in like you think there's no line. They're like, go all the way. When I was done, there was probably 15, 20 cars in there and
Mhm.
getting in line to go through tech. So I try to get everything ready and have it all signed. Here's my paperwork. Here's what I need to do. I was like, oh, this is a 24 hours of lemons car. And I was like, so not all of those cars are good. This one is a good one. And they're like, they laughed because they're like, yeah, we were thinking, they're like, not all of those are. I was trying to make it so they're like, hey, there's the race cage, the cage is good. They did a check. They shook the wheels. Everything was pretty easy. So they didn't stop me for anything. They didn't want to give me other stickers, but
We were
for
surprised ours was a lemons car.
yeah,
Yeah.
why? Because it looks so nice.
Yeah, they didn't expect to. I was like, well, just because it
pretty
could look
clean.
like junk doesn't have to make it look like junk.
Sure.
Mhm. Yep.
Yes.
Children
Alright,
were
so
good
then-
at lipstick.
Yeah, that too. Polish it up.
Dejankifying
Right.
TBD.
Right.
So the schedule was on a Google Doc that was constantly updated, and I have to say, I think that they were very good at staying
Yes, they
as
were.
on schedule as they could be and communicating changes. So I thought actually from an organizational standpoint,
Oh,
they did
and
a really
text.
nice job.
Text
Yep.
too.
Text.
The text
Lemon should do
alerts.
text.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They had the text alert. You called a number or texted a number and said NJMP 22, and you got all kinds of text alerts, which is great to say, like our intermediate run group, start gridding, etc. Worked great. So I do have to say, very well run and very well organized and on
Mhm.
schedule and on
Yes.
point. Very little wasted track time. It
Yep.
was very well done.
Yeah,
And
that
the-
was one thing they really did well.
Lucky Dog does the text thing. I don't know if they did it when you guys were out there. Kathy,
Is it
started doing
not
that.
attached? It's text actually not attached to Race Monitor.
No, it's separate.
They used to do attached to Race Monitor, so like the notifications on Race Monitor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good.
And there was, they were able to keep up with the schedule in spite of there was a lot of carnage in terms of engines that let go of things. And
Mhm.
So much.
yeah,
So,
it was-
Sunday was worse, I think.
It was. It seemed like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really bad.
I know
I
what you're
do
talking
have-
about.
I do have to say that
really.
also that I was surprised for not having so many cars on the track, how many people were actually going off and how many cars were like seriously damaged. That really
And-
surprised me.
How about a roll?
It did
You wanna
have
roll
a-
with that? Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a guy who rolled up on his side.
a
Yeah.
weird spot too.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Okay, back to Saturday.
Okay.
Saturday we all had 4 stints.
Yep. 4
Yep.
20-minute shifts available for everybody.
Mhm.
You guys went out first?
Half of
Did
us
you-
did, yeah.
Yeah, I did at least. I took the Civic out to see what happens, and it's excellent. It's really
Yeah?
fast. The handling is good. It understeers. I was on the 4 worst old tires that we own just to burn them up. So the grip wasn't quite what it should have been, but that's okay. For first shift though, the brakes were terrible. There was a terrible uneven transfer layer on the used rotors from the old Civic that I had on there, so it would just shake really violently in braking zones. So fortunately, Bill had some spare rotors because it's convenient. We have basically the same chassis and brakes and half the suspension, so we swapped those in no time, and that made them smooth and happy and great. But the car is really fast. The one problem is it runs warm. Yes, Bill.
Any tips or tricks for the listeners at home for bedding brakes as you go onto a track?
Ooh,
Yeah.
don't do it. And
Well,
Here.
fortunately, the pads were already heat cycled a number of times, so you're not having the outgassing that you usually have with brand new pads. We were just getting a good transfer layer under the rotors. So basically, you gradually increase your braking friction and heat during the session until about 2/3 of the way through the session, and then you try to use the brakes as little as possible to get some air through them, and just drive. And then when you come back in, make sure you move the car every couple minutes for the first few minutes, just to keep the pads from keeping one spot of the rotor hot. And obviously no parking brakes ever.
Nope.
When they're hot.
So the correct answer is not to go out there and do a full threshold stop on your first turn.
Correct.
Okay.
or on the straight.
Or
Yeah.
any for the
Gradually
first
build
stint.
it up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually by halfway through, you should be going full out, get them really hot, and then let them cool off gradually. So Civic's running hot. I backed off when the oil temp was at 280. Water temp was about 210. And I said, that's a lot. And this car has a massive circle track radiator in it. It has a sizable oil cooler, probably about as large as I'm going to be able to realistically fit. And I have ducted the air from the bumper hole through to all this and made sure nothing's getting around it, et cetera. So partially it's because it was really hot out, but that's going to be something we're going to have to figure out later, that we need to get more cooling through the car. Aside from that, the car is great. It's really fast.
Just like the other one.
Yeah, pretty much.
It doesn't do weird things.
It doesn't
Did
do
you-
any
did you
of the
say that
weird
right?
things.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Its handling is smooth and predictable and normal and easy. It doesn't do any of the weird shakes the other one did. It doesn't have the back end doesn't just move on its own accord with no predictability like it used to. It doesn't pull really hard in any directions and braking, like all the things that the old chassis was the reason we retired it. This doesn't do any of those, but it's all of the good things that the other one did. It's nice to have it back.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Should be very soon.
Yep.
The Godzilla horn is transferred, just not wired yet. So.
Correct.
Very
get to that.
important.
The really
Gotta
priorities.
Right?
Everyone else's cars and early shifts. Talk about some early shifts and how you're feeling.
Jennifer went out early and she spun almost immediately and started getting a little edgy again.
That was
So
in turn 9, which is for
Right.
those that know New Jersey, it's the start of the octopus. It is a very common place for people to spin or go off, especially their first time there or first time of the weekend.
Jennifer navigating the front wheel, kind of coached her through a little bit, but with everybody, and I was just telling her, and I think everybody else was kind of confirming, it's just like, you're here not to race fast, you're here to get comfortable. So I just kept telling her, I said, just drive until you're comfortable, start understanding and feel the car. I kept telling her, but then when you do that, just push a little bit more, and then if you get uncomfortable, back off and then try again, and just work on different spots, but just really try to feel what the car is doing underneath you and understand how it's working. So she started backing off a little bit and started doing that, and of course I think she spoke to a couple other people also about it, but she did pretty well. I had to relearn a bit on the rear wheel drive again because it's been a while. So I was always just a little bit edgy going out the first trip. and then started getting comfortable, started feeling where the car was going. And I mean, I thought it was okay. I was just a little bit nervous going out the first time with it. Didn't really have any problems with the cars. The cars were fine, except that we realized that the cool suit wasn't working. So we thought we had it hooked up right. We didn't have it hooked up right. There was a couple wires that were missing, power source, but we ended up getting that going on, I think, the next day. But it would have been great on Saturday because it was beastly. It was so bad.
How was the because this is the first time you drove the ND Miata. How was it compared to your turbo NB Miata?
The turbo ND, I could feel a lot more in it because it's a little bit more raw. There's a lot of padding and a lot of cushioning inside the ND, so you don't feel as much.
I giggled more in the NB than the
Yeah.
ND. Like the ND doesn't make you giggle like the other one did.
I mean, it's good, but the other thing too is that turbo is very, as everybody knows, I did have to get rid of the ND MB. I did make a choice because I really felt pigeonholed in it. Because it was 2 track for street and 2 street for track. So it was just strictly, I was using as an HPDE car, and I could be using other cars for HPDE cars. So I made a choice to sell it. But I do have to say that it's, the ND doesn't seem like it would work, only because it's got the really long front nose on it. And the way it's kind of situated, but it really is a really well balanced car. We do have adjustable shocks on it, so we did tighten those up to going out, and that really kind of balances the car, kind of stiffens everything up, which is really nice. And I was always, I think coming on to Sunday, but we'll discuss that later, is just trying to understand some parts of the track that I think I just wasn't doing well, and Chris helped me with those, and he helped me on those on Sunday. But yeah, I mean, little MB, I mean, ND is really a fun little car. I do have to say it is.
I think some wider, stickier tires on it would just that would make it about perfect for that car.
Yeah,
That's it.
we had street tires on it, just regular.
They're Continental ECSs, which are good enough, but when it gets really hot, they get greasy and
yeah. And I was feeling it too. I was feeling a little bit of a slide going, and I was starting to try to get it to rotate a little bit if I could. And the other thing is for some reason, and I don't know, maybe it was just me, but I kept thinking they were balding on the side because I just kept having a little bit more roll to it. And that's all just in the back of my mind. I'm like, these are street tires. How well are these going to last on this road?
Yeah, those tires have soft sidewalls as part of them. The why they're very good for being a performance street tire, but not as good on the track.
Mm-hmm.
Great,
cool. I think we did not have downloads after each session in the intermediate advanced. They only seem to have that for the beginners. But both lunchtimes they had talks with Ross Bentley and Peter Krause. So I was able to go to both of those, and I think you guys came to the one on Saturday. And
Sunday.
Sorry.
And that
Sunday.
was good. It was also a good excuse to get in the air conditioning.
Yeah.
But it was a good topic, and I think some people on our team who weren't there could have benefited from it.
Especially the brake compression.
Yeah. Right. So good.
Yep. Exactly. The brake compression discussion and the abruptness discussion, and the how much am I full throttle? Can I be full throttle 3% more?
Yep.
Yeah, it was good. I was motivated, and then I didn't have a car to drive, so there's that. So do you want to go, Bill?
I was just going to say which one of us is going to do an episode on the brake compression, because one of us needs to do it. I can be a listener for you guys, and you can pretend you're a listener for us, whichever listener wants to give feedback. But there
sounds
it is.
Good.
Okay.
Another thing I want to say is about the grid life in general is that every run group is point buys all the time, even advanced point buys anywhere. Beginners, it's point buys on straights, and intermediate, they allow you to do some of the small straights too. I thought it worked very smoothly and easily. Like everyone was constantly expecting it. No one hassled. I mean, my car was reasonably quick, but still not in the advanced group. There's a lot faster cars, but even when we're in a tricky section of the track. No one's expecting it to happen right there. That's fine. There's plenty of times I gave a point by and it was not taken. I think people were not as comfortable in close quarters traffic as we are, but I think it all went very smoothly from what I could tell. It didn't. I mean, it helped that there weren't 50 cars on track at a time, but.
I mean, with an HPDE, you don't really need to be aggressive in taking your point by either. There's no real reason to. So
yeah, tell that to people at NASA Northeast.
Yeah,
but
people people are going to win. So there's that.
Yeah, exactly.
Trophies and all.
Yep. I know our trailer is weighed down by the HPDE trophies that we were winning. So,
So most of the stints on Saturday, I'll take the first stint. So my first stint, we went out, we were all ready to go in the Mazda, and lap 3, I am coming up into 4. So we didn't run the chicane in 2-3, that place. So it was just one corner. And as I was coming up the hill at 4, I'm looking up into the corner, I'm looking ahead, and I see an Evo that has slammed on their brakes, and there's smoke everywhere. So I'm not sure if they were it looked like a burnout almost, but I see this ahead. And so I slow down, but before I can even avoid anything, I look down at the ground and there is oil all over the ground. So before I can do anything and get away from the oil, I am spinning. So I'm starting to fishtail, and I end up going into the wall right past the corner station that is on your right hand side as you're coming into 4. So right 4, yes.
It was nose in.
Slow-mo, couldn't do anything, both feet in, and there's only a very small patch of grass there to slow me down. So there was not a whole lot I could do. Nose in, hit the wall. Fortunately, everything, I was like, my gauges are fine. So it was like, it's not like I lost my water. So I reversed out, waited in traffic, drove it home. It was pretty shaken up just because when you hit the wall, when you can't do anything about it. It was, shook me up a little bit, but minimal damage. The hood is tweaked. The front valence part where the Mazda symbol is broken and now removed because Chris broke it and couldn't get it back in one piece. So a couple of parts wrong in the bumper, but really minimal damage. And I do appreciate everybody being concerned. I was obviously more concerned about the car and sad that I had an incident that I didn't mean to be involved in. So that was my first stint.
Did you say, I'm just trying to make sure this is clear to everybody. Did you say there was smoke around an Evo and it wasn't from vaping?
It's true. It was coming from their wheels. So
wow. Okay.
Unless they figured out how to make that happen on track, 3rd lap in, then yes, then that maybe happened. But yes, correct.
Who knew?
I know.
Yeah. The rest of Saturday went pretty smoothly for me. Just trying to get the Honda to not go nuclear, and it never, just had to back off, and driving a lot of 5th and 6th gear, and it would maintain 270 oil temps if I did it that way, which is still a lot, but it keeps it together. It was fine. Had a good day. I was out in every session. Took the Miata out once. That was fun. Enjoyed the shift in the ND. It's a lot more fun now that it's not rolling from door handle to door handle every corner like it used to.
Right.
So that's good.
Firmed it up a bit.
Yep. Good day.
I got to go out with Chris as an instructor, which was flashbacks to my first ever HPD instruction. So that was, hopefully I've improved. I'm not sure, but some people.
Absolutely.
Driving with Chris is always helpful, except if you're named Chrissy, much like if driving with Vicki, it's always helpful to drive with an instructor.
I enjoy driving with Chris.
Well, Vicki can't say the same. About me actually, but Chris showed a couple things that I do in my I think I'm at a transition point in my driving where and I think I've got myself a little confused. Chris kind of straightened it out a little bit for me, and I think it will help. And the takeaway for me from this event was I have a clearer direction in what I want to do, and I'm actually like hungry to get back to the track, which has been missing for the past few events.
Oh, that's exciting.
I know. Who knew? I like this sport. It's about time.
Weird.
So thank you, Chris.
Of course. And I want to comment on the Garmin Catalyst that we were using when you and I were out, Bill.
Oh, that's right.
And that it was, I guess, the first time I've experienced it. And so there was a time we were going through 5, and I said, "You got to apex later next time."
Mhm.
And right after I said it, the catalyst said, "Later." So it was interesting to hear it give the exact same feedback I had just given Bill just 3 seconds later.
Yep. I think
And
that's
it
one
was-
of the big things about the catalyst is, especially when you get to Chris's level or when you don't have access to an instructor, it will give you feedback, both positive, like nice job or new best or something like that, or
Mhm.
apex later, push a little bit, and it will, it'll give you feedback, and it'll get a little bit more out of your lap, even if you're quite good or even if you're
Mhm.
just a beginner. So
Yeah, and when Bill was doing the things that what he and I were working on, we were just all green all the time, just kept going faster, and it
Mhm.
was nice, and it was agreeing with me, which was good.
that means it's right, right?
Yeah, totally.
In theory, at least you're consistent. If you're both wrong, then so
Yep.
be it.
So how'd the rest of Saturdays go for you guys? Well, Vicki, you and I went out Saturday. I went out with you and the Miata to work on.
Yes, we
Turn-
did.
We worked on a few things.
We did. Part of it is that I have to keep my hand off the shifter because I was running my RPMs too low. And he's like, you could just push it up to 7. 7 seems so tall, for a shift. So anyway, as soon as we push it up to 7, things start trucking. I mean, it really started
Yeah.
doing its job. And
Wow.
That's where all the
Right?
good
It
stuff
worked.
is. That's where the good
worked,
stuff
yay.
is. Up
I
top.
know. It was nice because Chris, when he's instructing, gives you enough processing time. I have a processing thing where I don't like to be told in the moment as much as leading into, and that is Chris's style, which is really kind of awesome. And he's so soft spoken, and just level. He's level when he speaks, not excitable, which is great. So
I think that's like him in life, though. So there's that.
If he's excited on the track, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Mhm.
So my just going around the track and starting, I think it's turn 5. Is it turn 5 when
Is it
it's
left
the
or
sharp
right?
the sharp left?
Yep.
Okay,
5.
that's where we started pretty much. I mean, we had some other areas to kind of work on, but starting from 5 on is when things kind of start getting a little tricky to me, all the way through the octopus. So he helped me set that up and gave me the proper way of going through the octopus, which made things so much easier that I know that I gained time. I really did.
So much. You're going so much faster.
I really was.
Yeah, and so much so that the traction control started to come on. And once we were doing all these things,
I know.
we're like, "What's that?" I think, well, it's never. I think that's the traction control. Like that's never come on before. It's like, well, look, how
I'm
much
like,
faster you're going.
This has
It's
like
great.
traction control. I
Right.
never
What's
had to worry
that?
about. I never had to worry about traction. None of my cars had traction control
Yeah.
that I was ever driving. So I was like, "What's that? Well, what?
Yeah,
There's a
it
button."
just showed you were
Lies.
just going way faster. You really
Yeah.
were.
So and after that, that's what I was working on. The octopus is what I was mostly working on, and then going down the straight, which again, eyes up, which Chris kept reminding me. I'm like, yeah, that does make a huge difference. I have to keep telling myself that. And of course, that straightaway, I was really focusing on not the paddles on the side, the signs, as much as I was looking at the turn going in and then the turn out or the track out. So, and I think I did much better. Although Chris was saying that I was braking too late, didn't you?
Mm,
Or
no,
shifting
you
too
were
late?
okay. The shifting is more we were working on.
Okay.
Yeah, but that got a lot better. Just leaving it in gear. Don't touch it.
Mhm.
Leave it alone. Leave it.
I know. Don't
Leave
touch.
it.
I know, and that's
Leave
what I
it.
started doing. As soon as I hit turn 5 was when I just want to shift up, and he's like, "Nope, just leave it." And now I'm going over there, and I feel myself reaching over there, and I'm pulling my hand back, and trying to. I started doing
Not
that.
yet. Not yet.
Leave it.
No, leave it, leave it. Yep. So yeah, so I did greatly appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's what
You
I
did a great job getting better.
and after that that's what I pretty much worked on the rest of the time until I just couldn't on Sunday. On Sunday, I just afterwards, but I just couldn't. But yeah, so that was all on Saturday.
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, Saturday. Good. Bill, anything you want to add on Saturday? I think we've gone through everyone's days pretty well here.
No,
For
I
the
believe we
for the
are
driving
keeping our
part, at
cheat
least.
code. Our cheat code is
True.
staying
I
quiet.
didn't. I did well for the rest of the afternoon. I didn't go for the rest. I had an eventful first stint. Then it got better. We fixed the car and made sure everything else was okay. And then yeah, I was
Did you-
rocking.
Did you get the Civic on Saturday or only on
No,
Sunday?
no, I only did Mazda on Saturday.
Okay.
I did get out of the car and Bill says, "How did you feel?" And I said, "I sang 'This Girl Is on Fire' while I was driving." That's how excited I was. So yeah, I was kicking ass. And we looked at data later and there was only 2 corners that I was slowing and one of them is legit. And then that was something that I was struggling with. But I compared to Chris's time, did really well. So I was happy with my results. Did a good job.
Yeah, just you pick those 2 corners and you gain.
Well, it
multiple
was
seconds.
1 corner because I'm pretty sure I was past I was giving a point by out of 5, which I'm almost positive happened many times. So that's where I would have slowed there.
It's a good place for it.
Yes.
Cool. That
Cool.
Saturday night was Food Truck Festival at NJMP, and it was not as busy it was last time we were there.
It was very slow, actually.
But we had a good dinner otherwise, though.
Oh yeah, we should talk about food. We did breakfast, and Vicki, did you do any food the food, or Jen handle it all?
Jennifer manages the food.
Yeah,
She
it
does a
was great.
job.
It was
Yeah.
awesome, right? And she, because I have disabilities with food, she made me all kinds of special food for. It was great, wonderful, and really good. We were all very happy.
And popsicles.
Lots of popsicles.
Mhm.
So many popsicles.
So much water. We went through tons of water and ice.
Yeah, we did. We had to.
As
Bill
is
had to go
necessary.
buy more.
Went through 17 gallons on Saturday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I drank a lot of blue. I gotta say.
Yeah.
A lot of blue.
Tastes like blue.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Saturday, overall success.
Yeah. A little carnage,
Cool.
but yep.
Yeah, again,
That's-
I was really surprised about how much was out there of the cars that were wrecking.
Some of them were in the race, but there were a few on Sunday. I think was worse.
Sunday was totally worse. There were so many red flags. There were so many black flags. There was, including you, right? Yep. Bill's pointing to you.
Yep.
So I think Sunday was worse, but it was pretty bad. Lots of oil in the track.
Mm-hmm.
You've
So
got new
it's-
cars and new to the track people. You've got new to, like, even the Grid Life regulars. They've never been to NJMP, most of them. So I mean, it was a totally new event with half new people. So it's,
Yeah.
the good news is you got new people. The bad news is you got new people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So let's ready to go into Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Good.
think so.
Okay. So Bill and I started off the day in the beginner session because I wanted to take Bill out in the passenger seat of the Mazda for some instruction because and that's the one that had the passenger seat. So okay, we'll take that. So we go out at the front and
you could get reference laps for Chrissy to work from.
Yes.
you could
Yes.
absolutely.
Yes. That was the
Yes.
idea. Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we wanted some data to see exactly where Chrissy could work on things. So we're going along. We're about 2/3 of the way through the shift. Things are going well. Bill gave me a different line to come into 5, but really between 4 and 5. That I think was a good help. Absolutely. And we tried a few other things in a couple other spots. So it was good feedback there. Nice to have. So we're coming up on traffic. Finally, we kind of caught up to the field from starting at the front and come through one. And I lifted a little because there was some traffic, and the back end of the car did a little skip sideways that it doesn't usually do. And Bill said, "Is everything all right?" I was like, "Yeah, I think I just lifted." Okay, fine. It wasn't a big deal. Come through 2, and I look in my mirror and I see some smoke. I say, "Oh no, hang on." I look down, I see my oil pressure light on. I say, "Oh no." So immediately hand to the key, click off one notch to turn the engine off. And then I'm looking for a good spot to get off onto the grass. And hopefully, ideally, if there was a spot with the orange marks on the guardrail to pull behind the guardrail, I would. But to that point, it was just that no, I'm getting off and onto the grass. So I did, and I coasted up in the grass, coming up to 4 until we were right by a flag station and a good line of sight so people could see us, and shut the car off. and there was definitely some smoke coming out from under the hood. And
I
that
like
was fun.
when the tow truck people got there and they pop the hood and they go, oh, I'm like, that's not the noise we wanted
It's
to hear.
the
No.
worst.
That's the worst noise ever.
Oh,
Yeah,
so Vicki and I are sitting on grid. I'm in the Civic.
Mhm.
Vicki's right in front of me in the Miata. And so we're sitting, we're hanging, and I'm like, oh, Chris is out there. And I'm like, the Mazda's fine. Like, it's Chris driving the Mazda. Everything's got to be okay. And then we're like, oil on the track. And I was like, I have to drive home. This really better not be my car. And then Vicki, how did you know? Because she gets out where, so I'm locked in and Vicki is not as locked in.
It was a
She-
text.
Right. He texted. So she's like, oh, Mazda has oil all over the track. And I was like, oh, yep.
So yeah, they towed it in by lifting the front wheels off the ground and driving in the grass all the way around to try to make sure it wasn't going to leak any more oil out of the track.
Good
So,
idea. Good plan.
Yep. We get in, I mean, open the hood, and the entire engine bay covered.
All of it. All of it.
Everything. Underside of the hood, where the hood is up and it is running down the hood, dripping off the corners onto the fenders, running down the fenders. It's everywhere.
Yep.
So anyway, we didn't hear it make any weird noises. And then so I said to Bill, all right, let's fire it up for 3 seconds. It won't really hurt it. If it's already done, it's not going to hurt any worse. If it's still okay, 3 seconds isn't going to really make it any worse. So fired it up. No weird noises until we heard a kind of hissing noise. And Bill saw that.
Shut
and
it
said,
off.
I found it. Yeah, we shut it right off.
Shut it off.
And turns out it was an oil cooler line. So these oil cooler lines were going through a hole in the radiator support that used to be a duct for, not kidding, the battery to be vented in this car. We had shoved the cooler lines through it. One of them over time had abraded to the point where it had gone through its outer fabric coating and then gone through the rubber and metal. And there it goes. High pressure oil spraying out of there onto the top of the engine bay and on everything. But
Line man could have seen that leak.
yeah,
When it started, it was like, oh, got it. Turn it off.
Yeah,
We're good.
yeah.
I know exactly where it is.
fortunately that car has a fair amount of oil in the system, and we got it early enough that the car was okay. So the fix just involved letting it cool off, cleaning everything, about 3 rolls of paper towels, and I basically just took off the oil sandwich plate on the filter, put the filter back up to the normal spot, put some rubber gloves with zip ties around the oil cooler lines, put oil back in it, and it was okay. Good enough to drive home.
Mm-hmm.
It cleaned some, cleaned
Yep,
a
and-
lot.
Yes, like since we got home, obviously we had to clean everything again very thoroughly, and I've got the bumper off, and I've got some new line coming, and I'm got a different way I'm going to route the lines this time and put it back together, and it should be good to go for Thompson. So yeah,
We drove it all the way home with no
Yeah.
problem. I mean, it's
Bullet-
skipping ahead, but it obviously
that's
made
fine.
it home.
Bullet dodged there. So
Thanks. Thanks for
time.
that.
A couple different
Yeah.
ways because that car got a little bit of a handful when the oil started getting everywhere.
yeah, it did. So Bill, any feedback from our session that you had out there? We never had a chance to really talk about it because we got towed in and there was oil everywhere. So
We had other
Yeah.
things to work on. So
Yep.
well, I took notes. I know it's shocking.
no.
I know. And on the good side, you're very smooth and consistent on your turn in, and that keeps the car very settled. So it makes driving with you easy and also probably helps you with your speed. It's hard to tell on the Thunderbolt track, but it looks like you turn in at a slightly different rate on left-hand turns versus right-hand turns. I don't know if you're doing it on purpose or if you're it's a some people use their right hand for both turns, and that gives you a different leverage for different ways. So I think we talked about the approach to turn 5. I think that'll help you because it'll kind of open up the turn a little bit more and make the turn a little less severe for you. But you have superior car control when you're driving at your normal comfort, which is like an 8 or 9 tenths, maybe somewhere in there. And I think it's going to be difficult to see where your skills are going to break down unless you get out there and push a lot, and then we'll find some things. So I think maybe trying to get out there for like a time attack event or maybe a Sunday Cup or something, no matter what the car, and then we could see where your difficulties are, because you pretty much have it down for what you're doing, and there's not a lot there that is an error. It's I think your skills and your abilities are dialed in so well. I think you might need to push a little bit, and even if you push a little bit, even if you do it, your 8 or 9 will go up a little bit because you've pushed. I don't think you've pushed yourself in quite a while.
True. Endurance racing, you're going fast enough, but leaving a little room on the table. It's
Mhm.
kind of been the MO for a long time.
Yeah, because it's just like lap after lap, you were just the same. I mean, it was like ding, 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 and I was like, okay. So, and as expected, it's good in just about every way. But
yeah, good. Well, thanks. This is. I didn't have this feedback before. We didn't want to burn pod.
Nope. And we'll see what the Garmin says, because I think it was in the car. No, it wasn't in that car.
No, I had the Apex. I
No,
think, but
no, we only had Apex.
yeah.
Did you run it in the Miata when you were out?
Yes, it was Vicky's phone was still in the car after she was out. We just left.
No, but did you run the Garmin?
Oh no,
Okay.
just the Apex.
Okay, all right. Yep, I looked at yours and Vicky's data already. So.
Did
Yeah.
you?
Oh yes. You don't want us to talk about that now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You're actually
So-
you're quite good actually. So
I'll just wrap up. The rest of Sunday was just a couple times out in the Civic. It kept doing what it did before. It runs hot. You just back off a little bit. It was okay. It was a fun time. We left skipping the last session. All
Oh,
good.
you guys skipped the last session too? I thought Chrissy went out.
Well, no,
That
there
wasn't
was
the
one after
last. That was the
Oh.
third. Yeah, we left
Yeah.
at 2 or 3, about 3 o'clock by the time we were gone. But yeah, it was fine. I got in the Civic, did twice, and it was good. It was I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot of work to get used to non-momentum, step on the gas and it goes kind of thing. So just
how was it compared to Godzilla?
Oh, beautiful, wonderful. It's so much better. It's so much smoother. And that's why I made sure Chris noted that it was great when you got in the car. It didn't do anything weird. It was wonderful. I can't wait to drive it. I wasn't pushing it nearly as hard as it needs to be. I was not like Vicki, not revving it high enough. It also sounds like a buzzy bee. So I got out
does.
and Chris got in. And so like right back to back. So I came in, like basically before the last lap. And so you can hear you from start finish to 5 buzzy bee. I'm sure you guys know this,
Standing
but
in the paddock. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can hear it.
oh, the whole time. So I'm not listening to Chris where he's shifting because you can hear it everywhere. And I realized I'm shifting way earlier than that. So not using the whole band, just not there yet. So a little more time with that before we are trying to win or something.
Yeah,
Was
but
it as
overall,
buzzy in the car as the other one?
way less. It
Yeah.
has a lot more. It has a lot more muffler on it than the old car. The old car had just 2 glass packs, so that was all I could fit. This one I was able to actually fit a chambered muffler at the end, and also a resonator in the middle. So having the 2 of them of different styles helps. But the fact that we went from a crush bent 2.5-inch exhaust to a mandrel bent 3-inch means more sound gets through too. But overall, it was better. Definitely,
It's better. Yeah.
less
Especially
of a
with
sensory
helmets.
assault than it was.
Yeah. Everything was, I was like, it was hot, but everything was hot. So it's hard to tell.
So
That's
get
what
a couple good things in the punch list to do for that, but they're just normal teething issues, things you learn on a new car. So overall, great success with the Civic.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Yeah. So how was Sunday for you guys? Talk us through the day.
Well, it started out well. We woke up and that's when we were going to do a couple little tweaks to get our cool suit working because it was not working. And Chris and I had gone over and Chris just looked at my wiring and just took a sigh. It was a sigh.
Might
And
have been 2.
it wasn't a good sigh. It was not. We were doing a couple things to it on he was explaining about the secondary harness that we're putting in because the people who took our car, like I said, they had ripped most of the harness out. And of course, all the bits that like the extra stuff, like the cigarette lighter or connectors to other parts of the car, radio connectors, or,
This is the stock
diffuse.
dash harness.
Is gone.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The previous owners removed the stock dash harness and just
Add lightness.
hardwired a bunch
Duh.
of weird things. Right. Yeah. It's all of a pound.
No.
Right.
I'm just kidding. It's not the right
So-
answer.
So I hooked up the cool suit to what I believed it was, but I didn't really have a test on it yet. I'm still working on through stuff. Anyway, it was not working. I found out that my power source was not working. And then Chris saw that because so many people have had hands on this electrical system that's there right now, that most of my stuff was wired through my kill switch, which he was just horrified at, which come to realize that is kind of a scary thing because I did not know. So anyway, he has a secondary piece of harness that we plugged into and started using to bypass some areas and hook up the cool suit to, which I believe we did.
Yeah, we got it
yay?
working.
Yeah, we
Yep.
got it working. He actually used it to the cigarette lighter bit of the harness. And then I kind of stuffed all that up underneath there. And then it was Jennifer's turn to go out in that car and it did not run. So I think that was right after that, wasn't it? No, she ran out with the cool suit. She did not run out with the cool suit at all, I don't think.
It didn't work whenever the Mazda blew up because I thought she was waiting for me. I left the garage and she didn't follow me. So that's when the car didn't work.
You know what? And that's right, because we had a late start that day. And then we had a later
Yeah.
start in our rotation.
Mm-hmm.
So actually the Honda, our Honda never made it out on Sunday, now that I think about it. So I sent Jennifer out in the Miata, let her go out with that. But I don't know if she did. She might have.
She did.
She did?
Yep,
Okay. Because
100%.
I had gotten a trip out and then she went out in that one the second time around. And I think that was the end of our day. Chris suggested that we start with the distributor cap and then dejanctify our janky wiring.
It's things like when I push on the kill switch and the dash lights come on.
Yeah.
even with the kill
I
switch
didn't know that
off.
did that at all.
It's a
That-
feature.
That
It's a
worries me.
feature.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, I did not know that does not go to a switch anywhere, or what is it, a module?
There's no
a fuse.
fuses.
There's no fuse. Okay, I
There's a
wasn't
lot of-
aware of that. That's
Yeah, there's a
new.
lot of unsupported wires running many feet without fuses before they get to a potential fuse box. And
Yeah,
yeah.
not good. So that was a lesson that I learned this weekend. So we are going to work on getting through, like I said, Thompson, because I can't really run everything out right now. I could probably run some stuff out, but
We
anyway,
have a plan. Don't worry.
we do have a plan for it. But for right now, it's to get it started and get it running, because it wouldn't turn. It had power, it had fuel, but it didn't start.
Yeah. It would
Correct?
crank but not run.
Okay.
Yep.
So Chris suggests I start with distributor. So we'll start there. And then
Rule it
we
out.
should-
You got to rule it out. Everything is in there.
So since Chris is here, and I was going to text him anyway. So we were thinking, make sure that, because we've had this problem with this car before, we were thinking make sure that the wiring to the switch itself is good and nothing came loose, because we've had something come loose before,
Sure.
and then go to the distributor. So that was kind of the sequence we were thinking about.
Why not?
We're going to do
Either or.
both. So
You're going to need to do both eventually. So
well, the only reason why that's one thing is because the way I kind of stuffed all that massive harness up underneath the steering wheel. I'm wondering if maybe I loosened something. Could be.
who knows?
It's so
Can't tell without
it's
it.
so
Who knows?
freakish.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's going to be part of the plan tomorrow. I think what I'm going to first do is I'm going to cut down that harness and take a look at everything, and then I'm going to do the distributor at the same time. So take a look at it all.
Okay.
start
Sounds good.
early.
Yeah, I'll be over
Yep.
there early.
Mhm.
Breakfast with the mother-in-law at the diner before she goes to work at 7 a.m. and then I'm heading over.
It's good. Get out.
Mhm.
Get out early.
Oh,
Bill,
it's
your son-
cool.
Your Sunday?
I got to watch you drive, and then we worked on the Mazda 3 for a little bit, and then we packed up and hit the road because we had to get home in time for the Lemons iRacing event, and we'd broken just about everything we brought, so we were done.
Yeah, the heat was tough too. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So I think that we also found that weekend on Saturday night, they were having their food truck festival.
Did that.
I know. I yes, but I do have to say that the facility is really becoming quite nice. They're really doing quite a bit of stuff that's going on, which I was quite impressed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little bit more each time. I think it's just something a little bit more than just racing and racetracks. I think they're bringing in a lot more different kinds of entertainment, and I was pretty impressed by it.
So since NJMP management obviously listens to the Everyone Racers podcast and don't listen to the Garage Heroes and Training podcast, but since we're on the Everyone Racers part of the podcast, I would recommend that they have, perhaps on a Friday night, comedy night, all the Lemons people could come over after you let us in at a reasonable hour. We could sell that thing out real bad.
Sure.
Something good. Even just drink specials by the pool.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
All right.
What else? Anything
Pool
else?
table.
Yeah.
I might have one of those. I'm not sure.
They probably do. Okay. What else? What else is on our list to bring this weekend to a close?
Now let me think.
Did you guys learn anything?
What did we learn? I do have to say that.
Yes, it's in just the tip.
Is it?
All right.
Really?
We'll get there. Yeah. We'll get
Okay.
there.
Did you learn anything driving or the track?
I learned that I learned everything that Chris taught me. It was just new. I learned that grid life. I really think that grid life just needs more. If it just wasn't so hot, and I think it being new. So that was it was a toss up between going to one or the other. And the reason why we went to this one was because of Jennifer being closer to her locale,
Also, it's so much nicer to drive from my house to NJMP than it is to Pittsburgh. So
True.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. The two and change seems so easy.
It was great compared to 15,000 hours on the turnpike.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
How about you guys?
It almost can't get any closer than that for us, unfortunately.
Pretty much.
What did you learn? Bill?
Chris was very helpful. I think if you go back to the first time we went out, I have a predisposition from all my street driving, I guess, to do early apexes. And then I trained a lot of that out. And then I started talking to too many people. So there's like the school line and there's a race line. And I think I've overcompensated for moving from what the school line is, which is typically a late apex, to what I understood to be the race line, which is typically geometric apexes. So I just ended up apexing, each turn got its own special sauce, lettuce, cheese, the whole thing. And then Chris is like, no, go back to the old ways. And we went back to the old ways. And I think I went down like 2.5 seconds, including a point by just in that session. So, 2.5 seconds is huge. And I'm not that slow. I'm slow, but I'm not that slow. So it was fun. I had a great time. Thank you, Chris.
Anytime.
Thank you. How about you, Chrissy? What'd you learn?
I think just reinforced everything. It's so nice to be on the track with not 110 cars. So
It's easy.
Yeah. And knowing it's low pressure. So it's just, where are you having a problem? Where can I go faster? Where can you do better? So I enjoyed taking the time to do that. So yeah. So I think, I don't know that I learned anything. I just reinforced the things that I tend to forget about when racing, or even testing for that matter, because I've just had eyes up the whole time and realized, could be, when you have those 20 minutes, you can do what you need to do and then know if it went well or not, but then also have that time, even if you're not doing a download with other people, you can have that retrospective, even just asking each other, how did it go? You're thinking about the things that went well and why, and then take that time to be like, oh yeah, I was struggling with the octopus for the first couple stints. And I was like, I don't know why, or the turn going into there. And I realized I was just looking at the apex. I told Chris about all kinds. There's so many flagpoles around with flags. Do you know that? There's so many of them.
So many.
I found them all. And I said, if you're going to slow in this corner, you better be looking at the flagpole because that's where you should be looking. And Chris was like, I didn't even know there were flagpoles there. And so, yeah. So things like that I just know eyes up I was faster when I wasn't looking at the ground, which is no surprise to anybody. But when you're in the car, it became reality.
You were so much happier after you did it too.
Yes, so much. I know. Well, when
So
you get
much.
out and you feel like you're awesome, then that's great.
Chris, anything?
Yeah, change my line in 4, and then what I've got for just a tip, which is a good learning. Yeah.
Wait a minute. What's the next session? Just.
Oh, are we there yet?
I think.
Yeah.
we
Anything
are.
else? Well, you're okay.
Oh, you had all kinds of
I know.
prompts
going
here.
long. We're going Garage Heroes and Training podcast long. I didn't want to make it painful. So don't want to go for 3 hours. So
Yeah, Mental's not here. So
nope.
yeah,
Nope.
that's true. All right. What about things you could work on for the next time you go? Since you gave me the door, I'll walk through. We're going to Thompson in a week and a half, right?
Oh.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do that you could do better?
Be a rock star.
Yeah. How good a rock star are you though?
I'm gonna have to be a great rock star because if I'm gonna stay on this team, I gotta pick it up.
So what are you going to do? Is you going to be your vision?
Eyes up.
Vision. Okay. What about you, Miss
Yeah.
Vicki?
Same. Made all the
Same.
difference. And higher revs.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
Use all of it and the track.
Yeah.
Chris,
We paid for it, right?
We did.
Yep.
Might as well.
I know.
Might as well. Chris, you got anything new?
I'm gonna try to throw down a couple of testing laps that are win the race pace just to stretch that way a little bit.
I'd be interested if we can hook up the data and look at what you do.
Sure.
That would be interesting. That'd be fun.
And then I'm going to set a couple of just normal laps too, because that's what we use for targeting for
Rest of us.
For everyone else.
Us minions.
Yeah,
Not
so
a-
we
not
can
a hero lap.
save those. We can save the hot laps separately.
Yep.
And that won't be bad at all.
Good. Bill,
Good.
what are you gonna work on for next time?
Well, I am going to be at the next event. I am going to be part of the theme. So I have limited driving, if any driving, scheduled. But for my next event, I'm going to be trying to refine my apexing because that seemed to be the biggest thing.
You should go out on testing day at least, because Thompson has a wonderful
Yes.
testing day.
Yes, test day.
Yeah,
was the
they
one.
do.
But yeah, if we can get out, we'll get out there. So we should have. Once the Civic is up and running, we will. I'll get out there for a test day, but I'm not planning on anything for Saturday or Sunday.
Okay. Great. Let's do it. So now we're really wrapping this up.
We are. We got.
It's
Just a tip.
Just the tip.
Not waiting
Great.
for all y'all.
No,
All right.
that's fine.
Nope.
Mine is, this is a safety tip, and not just for you, but for other people on track. Oil cooler lines. I learned more about oil cooler lines, and I'm going to say this very simply. There is no substitute for good old-fashioned stainless steel braided lines. What we had and that I got in the Mazda was from a kit from a large retailer. It was an oil cooler kit. It had what's called braided lines. Okay, great. Looks fine. They were fabric covered braided lines. I thought, okay, that's just like a cosmetic covering over the metal, because when you cut it actually cut it to make the lines, there is some metal there, but it's nowhere near as much metal as a proper stainless braided coated line. And if I had had one of those, I think the stainless line would probably have worn away the plastic of the radiator support versus the plastic of the radiator support wearing through the fabric and then through the not very well metal reinforced line that it had. So do not again, this podcast is all about learning from our mistakes. Here's our mistake. We didn't use the real thing, the actual fully covered in metal stainless braided line for a critical component. Don't do that. Even if it looks nice, make sure you're getting the old fashioned stuff. Even if, oh, I like the black look better, oh, etc. No, get the old fashioned stuff. It's that way for a reason. It works the best. There you go. Just the tip.
Good, just the tip.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have another just tip. I do. And Vicki might want to go next. It's not race related. Mine is separate than race. Go ahead, Vicki. You go, and then I'll
go ahead.
Okay. So I'm talking about eye safety this time. So I last week had a additional reportable injury at work, which is really bad. We really don't.
You were not injured.
I was not injured. We had one at work. It was not me. It was an injury to the eye. It was actually debris that got in the eye. We talked about safety glasses and actually having prescription safety glasses that are actually the glasses that have side shields. So they are the protective coating and the right ones, but they have side shields. So this employee got solder into their eye because they were looking down, and they had regular glasses with side shields on them. So they weren't actually protecting the tops of your eyes, and just shot between her face and her safety glasses. So my point to you is that if you wear glasses, great. And if you wear them and think that they are enough, you are still at risk. And I would advise you to consider getting actual prescription safety glasses. The ones that wrap around, they don't look cool. They're not great. Sometimes my employee was saying that they feel like they're in a fishbowl, but it also would have saved us 3 different doctor strips to get stuff out of their eye. So just keep eye safety in your head, and when you're working on stuff, and it could be even not that you're doing something you're not. It's not always when you're grinding or cutting or something like that stuff flies, and that happens. So keep it in mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris, I'm a woodworker, but you're much better at this metal thing. What type of work do you do where you would typically want to solder your eyes? There's an area of the car where that's advisable?
Yeah. Usually when you're in the lotus position under the dash working on things, because you're right there anyway. So if there's solder on your eyes, it's easy to just take the solder from your eyes and put it onto the wires.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Terrible.
Yep.
So my just the tip is, like I said a bit earlier, Thompson's coming up for us East Coast racers. And as we all know, Thompson is one of our most brutal races, only because of the weather is very swampish and soupish. So start now and think about your cooling strategies. I know some people have built exterior cool suits, and they plug their cool suits into the cool suit cooler that is sitting outside and is generating, which I thought was quite clever. But if you do not have that, look online, and they have cooling vests and cooling hats. And again, they have the cooling towels, which Chrissy had so graciously introduced us to, and they were dreamy, I must say. They have lots of different kinds. They're extremely affordable, and they actually lower your body temperature. Not lower your body temperature, but they're 30 degrees cooler than what is outside. So, and some of these towels can hold up to 45 minutes to maybe an hour and a half. Of course, with this race coming up, don't forget, remain hydrated, bring your coolers into the garages and, most of the areas where people are. So, start your plan of attack now. Because it might take a little bit of time for the stuff to come in.
Excellent.
I forgot one thing. Thompson potluck Friday. I changed it up. It's Friday. If you are coming, if you want to come, make sure you bring some stuff. Not potato salad, probably not pasta salad, and make sure that you bring enough for your team. Bring enough as a side. Do not bring me a half-eaten piece of pizza or an open bag of chips or something like it. Try to come up with something a little bit interesting. We love salads. We love sides. We do not have a meat provider at this point for this race, so if you so please bring meat of some sort. So, and it's also going to be hot, so chili is probably not the funnest, but if you do
Soup,
great chili,
not
let's
so
do it.
much.
You know, if you do it well, that's great. So normal time 6:30. Drop your food off 7:00. Line starts. That's the plan. There is a spreadsheet up online, but of course the Facebook page gets pushed down very quickly. So we'll keep refreshing it. Just bring something. I would love for you to put it on there, but if you're just planning something, we can always post to it later.
And
Thanks.
the reason why you're having it on Friday instead of Saturday, let them know.
Yeah, so Saturday is a really long race day. It is, I think, 9 to 6:30. So by the time we would get our cars off track, get changed, find your food, it's going to be midnight before we would eat. So I changed it to Friday so we can eat a little bit earlier, eat normal dinner time, and everybody can deal with their broken cars on Saturday.
Yeah, no one wants to be, having a broken car at 8:00 with no dinner and stuff. No, it just doesn't work.
Oh, and I don't want people to not show up because they're working on their car. So Friday's easier. Sorry to change it up, but when I make it up, then I just pick what day I want. So there's that.
I can make sense with the schedule. Great.
Does.
All right, Bill and Vicki.
Question.
Yeah.
If we are allowed, are we going to be doing a track walk?
We can, if you'd like. I think Chrissy integrated that into the timing for the potluck a bit.
So there is according to the schedule online, there is a track walk allowed. It does not fit so well with the food. So if you go, I think it's 6 to dusk, I think is what it is. I don't know why 6, but we end at 5. So I'm not going because I'm going to be.
Yeah, if we're going to do a track walk, we need to do it as soon as they let us on track.
Yes,
basically.
and quickly,
Okay.
so you can make sure that you eat. So yes.
Yeah. So if you plan on going out there for a track walk, especially if you're going out there with us, we're going early if we go.
Yep.
Correct.
Shut your car off, grab your drink, head to the gate. We're going.
The only problem with that is that sometimes they do those bike rides or walks or something like that. So it may not be exactly when the track is cold.
Sure.
So
We'll do
I don't
as
know
soon
about
as
that.
we possibly can.
Yep.
Okay.
Cool.
Bill and Vicki, usually this is where we ask people to plug whatever they want to plug, but I feel like the Venn diagram of our listeners overlaps so significantly that I'm not sure it's too worth it. But please go ahead, say what you want to say.
Well, I mean, we're posting this on our channel as well. So Garage Heroes in training everywhere except for Facebook because they don't let you have enough letters. Garage Heroes IT.
Yeah.
Same people listen to both podcasts. We always call you guys the 201. We're the 101, and we both have the same goal to help grow the sport.
Absolutely. Great.
What about you guys, in case we have somebody who doesn't know you?
everyone.racers@gmail.com if you want to talk to us. Otherwise, just look us up, Everyone Racers, pretty much everywhere. If Metal were here, he'd tell us about how we're on like Reddit. Actually, you know what? I'm going to tell you all kinds of ways you can get a hold of us because.
Oh, you're
Thanks
doing
for
it.
downloading us,
Okay.
everybody. We hope you
all
enjoyed
the
this
things.
edition of Everyone Racers meets Garage Heroes in Training. This is like one of those superhero mashup movies, except we don't fight.
Right.
Anyway, we all hope you're going to join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even Bill. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe, totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions, show ideas, comments, anything, emotional outbursts, we want to hear it on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us, everyone.racers@gmail.com. Text Mental 484-243-0455. He loves to get pictures of your junk. Find us on Instagram and Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook at Everyone Racers, even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. And everyone, keep the shiny side up unless you had a massive oil leak and it's all shiny. Then just shut the car off and go in the grass. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.